fingers and split with your figures. Dismantle the victim, leave no witness when I handle my business. I stick with gorillas that slick with the triggers. They itching and licking at these snitches while I'm flipping your bitches. The core nigga, listen, I'm rep to the finish, to the death with a vengeance. I'm bred in the garden of snakes with the heart of a sinner, the mind of a winner, the spine of a killer. We hardly beginners, shots will pop off at the lawn when they coming to get us. I'm numb from the feeling, the slugs will be spilling. So run for your children, I'm come from the illest. Destroy what you building, them orphanage niggas. Catch me slipping, chances 1 in a million. And my street wounds, they never healing. You talk it, I live it. I'm blessed with every minute on this earth.
And this is Hip Hop Radio on 22.3 Take Over Vegas Radio. You guys, it's August 23rd, 2019.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kobe Bryant's birthday. Happy birthday, Kobe Bryant.
Black Mamba.
More important to me, though, happy birthday, Auntie Tanya. Rest in peace, man. We love you down here.
Rest in peace.
But LS, what's the word, champion?
Oh, man, I can't call it, man. You know, just a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in the streets.
Yes, sir.
A lot going on in our lives.
Man, bro, I wouldn't have it no other way, man. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's 107 out there, but it don't seem that hot. And that's crazy, right? It don't seem that hot.
It don't seem that hot, but it's 107 out there, yeah.
It's definitely real though, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news, a lot of stuff going on in hip hop, man. We definitely gonna get to it today, man. So, what's been on your mind, bro?
Oh man, you know, just a lot been on my mind. You know, just about what's been going on in hip hop. A lot of stuff ain't make the news. A lot of stuff did make the news.
True.
You know, this NFL deal with Jay-Z has just been going crazy. A lot of people talking about that. Surrounding that has just been a lot of side talk as well, because you know everybody want to catch. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess a piece of what's going on, so they can get their 2 cents in.
No, it's definitely an interesting situation. It's definitely a lot of interesting opinions out there. A lot of sides being taken. A lot of people calling for neutrality, asking people to sit back and wait on the situation, but definitely a lot of fun stuff to talk about on that tip.
Man, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. We are going to talk about not only our greatest rappers, right? Now this is from our perspective. This ain't from nobody else's.
No, sir.
Not only our greatest rappers, but also our greatest lyricists and our all-rounds.
Well,
how you feel about that?
I definitely am excited, not just to share my lists, but also to hear your lists.
Yeah, no problem.
When we talked about it and we broke down the 3 categories, best rapper, best lyricist, and I said legend for my end.
Legend. Well, you know, all around, legend. Let's just keep it a legend.
And one of the things that has been happening over the last couple of weeks, you got a lot of lists coming out, top 50. I've seen the top 50 producer list, and people drop their top 50 rapper list, and there's a lot of questionable names toward the top. But you have an opportunity to set a standard based off of our opinion for This Is Hip Hop on 22.3 Takeover Vegas Radio. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully, we give people something to think about.
No doubt. Also, we're gonna just touch on a little bit about pray for the Amazonia. As if you guys haven't noticed or haven't heard, but the Amazon had been on the fire, and I believe still on fire.
Man.
Since I would say the top of the week.
Well, definitely.
Crazy.
I heard that they got some rain down there, which is a big benefit, and we thank God for putting together a world so perfect, man. The ecosystem, man, always takes care of itself, man. But it's definitely a tragedy going on down there. If you're not aware about it, we're going to make sure that you are aware. And we're just going to talk about some of the things that's going on surrounding the big fire in the Amazon and some of the rumors and conspiracy theories that's going around about that situation as well.
Oh yeah. Also, we're going to touch a little bit on social media and how things are put out in the social media to not only to distract us, because I don't think that a lot of this stuff is a distraction purposely. It's just distracting us on a level where we just like to indulge in the BS. And when we do that, we take ourselves away from what's going on in the media. Now, as we know, the media is not always
100%, I'm not going to say accurate, but they're not going to just broadcast everything. So, we'll touch on that. Also, just a little bit of what I've been watching lately, feeding my entertainment part of my brain to put me to sleep. It's crazy. It's kind of diabolical. We get into that, but I'm curious to go back and forth with this list, and we would love for y'all to call in as well. But before we go into some music, what else are we talking about?
Well, we had quite a few new hip-hop albums dropped in the last 24 to 48 hours.
Yes.
There was also a situation up in Detroit, man, with the rapper T Grizzly. He was, somebody attempted to murder this man, ended up killing his auntie, his manager, so we're going to touch on that as well. But a lot of fun stuff to talk about today, man. Can't wait to get to our top 10 list. More than that, man, we got some great music for y'all today, and once again, it's me and LS, man, we're East meets West, so, this is hip-hop is definitely going to be on fire today.
Yeah, you already know. So, without further ado, like I always say, we're going to get into some music. LS,
I'm Doodie Outlaw.
You're listening to This Is Hip Hop Radio on 22.3 Take Over Vegas Radio.
For your favorite 22.3 radio personality, This Is Hip Hop is nominated for 9 different categories, so
Facts.
I'm sure it's one of them that you can think that we're suitable to win. So go ahead and get your vote on. We are still accepting RSVPs for the show, September 25th, 7 p.m. at Park MGM, Juniper Lounge. Please reach out to myself or LS through social media, through our phone numbers,
Absolutely.
and let us know if you're coming, who you're coming with, and can't wait to see you guys. Can't wait for the show, man.
Make sure you also text 223-TOVR. That's 223, T is a Tango, O is an Oscar, V is a Victor, R is a Romeo, to 31996, right? 223-TOVR to 31996. That is the way that we can actually record that as well, so we know exactly, so you actually get that. And you can come up and get the tickets here when it's ready for you. But and if you want to call in, make sure you call us at 702-412-5870. Once again, 702-412-5870. We're gonna go into I guess the first thing, Jay-Z news. I would have saved that for pray for Amazonia. Straight up and down, because that's important. And I believe that's something that we are being distracted from with this NFL thing. And not intentionally, but it just happens, right? So just to give you guys a little insight of what we were saying earlier, there's been a big fire in the Amazon rainforest, which has been burning for about 2 weeks, okay? A record number of fires have been under the administration of the president, Jair Bolsonaro, okay? Which his critics are arguing that Bolsonaro's government is encouraging the deforestation.
Yeah.
Now that's crazy, man.
When this dude was voted in, I know that a lot of people don't keep up with world politics because we got enough to deal with American politics.
Yeah.
But when this guy was voted in, one of the issues that a lot of the people had in the Amazon in Brazil, because the Amazon is part of Brazil, was the fact that this dude wanted to deregulate some of the issues that's going on in the Amazon. We're talking about chopping down trees and moving people out of their homes in the forest and moving animals. And there's a lot of species of animals, a lot of species of cats, a lot of species of bugs and birds and different animals that aren't seen anywhere else in the world, on top of the different type of foliage and trees and plants that grow there, man. So this dude was already on the front end of trying to cut down a lot of the Amazon, and now it's a big coincidence that a lot of the Amazon is burning, and people are happy.
Right. I mean, Brazil's National Institute for Space Research, they're stating that approximately 870 square miles of the Amazonian rainforest has been destroyed by, and it's been a human. It was been destroyed by humans. Like
Yeah, straight
this
up.
is this is done intentionally. You know what I'm
This
saying?
wasn't no lightning strike, y'all.
Right.
This wasn't no campfire that went wrong. I mean, they're saying that they've recorded 76,720 wildfires across the country this year as of Thursday, which is an 85% rise over last year's figure. That's coming from the Washington Post. The thing is, these wildfires, I've seen a couple videos, man, of some of the natives, because keep in mind that Amazon runs through multiple countries. It runs through Brazil, Bolivia, Paraguay, Argentina. But some of the tribesmen and tribeswomen are saying that people are coming in there and setting their places on fire, setting national reserves on fire, setting villages on fire, man. This stuff is crazy. So they don't think this is just a happenstance.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you know, they're saying that the laws prohibited land development in the Amazon, including the lands that are reserved for the indigenous people. You know, so the farmers believe that they can slash and burn without government sanctioned punishment. So what that means, guys, is that they're burning this so that they can cut down the rainforest, so they can actually use that for their gain. It's almost the same type of stuff that they do in the United States. And what,
Exactly the same.
the same type of stuff that they do in the United States. And it's crazy because what gives you the right to do this for capital gain? It doesn't. I mean, we're already trying our luck and pressing our luck with this planet, right?
Yeah.
And our environment is messed up as it is. It ain't just, when you hear that the environment is effed up, it's not just America, people. It's
the world.
the entire world.
The world.
And then you hear these people talking about, oh yeah, we're finding oxygen on Mars, and we're you know, people are gonna be moving to these planets and moving to the moon. Well, guess what? If that's so, it ain't you. It ain't you, common folk. It ain't you, everyday folk. It ain't you that is in debt for school. It ain't you that's in debt because you just had a new child. It ain't you who's in debt because of some loans you took out. You're not going up there, if that is true. So you got to understand, man, this stuff is very, very, very important. And we really need to look at things for what they are. Now, a lot of people say, well, I mean, we talking about it, what we going to do to help?
True. And that's the thing. The first thing that all of us have to do is be aware. One of the great things about hip-hop and all the great voices in hip-hop, and we know that hip-hop is not just an American thing, it goes all over the world.
Right.
Hip-hop brings awareness, and we want to use our platform, first off, to bring awareness to things that matter to us, but also things that matter to the world. Some things are bigger than us. And what LS is talking about is 100% true, man. There is no second planet, y'all. If I leave here, the only place I'm trying to go is heaven. So to be 100 with you, man, I'm thinking about my grandkids and my great-grandkids, and when we're looking at this capitalistic society and looking at these businesses, the industrial age, and what we're willing to do and sacrifice for making $1, it's definitely not worth our lives. It's definitely not worth the world. And one of the things I always tell people is God made the world perfect. When I say that, just like the human body, man, when you get sick, you got an immune system to fight that, right? When we're talking about global warming, when we're talking about the lungs of our world, we can't live without oxygen. That's humans. But there's things that can live without oxygen. Now, the world is going to find a way to correct itself. Right now, the humans are become a virus to the planet. Capitalism has become a virus to the planet. It's destroying from the outside in, from the inside out. So we have to make a stand as people, and we got to understand, man, that it's not just about our voice. It's about our protest. It's about what we put our money behind. There were people today protesting at embassies across the world, Brazil's embassies, telling the president, like, hey, you got to do something about this. And that's what we have to do. We got to recognize that even though we're in North America, they're in South America, and we're a little distance away, the same way that this immigration issue is an issue, we got to make the burning Amazon an issue because it affects all of us, and it's going to affect us for years to come.
for years to come. So you guys got to be aware, be in tune with what's going on, and just educate yourselves as we are.
True.
Now, a lot of times we don't go ahead and tell you what we're doing on air because a lot of things ain't for everybody. But when we talk about it, don't think that we're not the ones practicing what we preach. So I just wanted to add on to that.
True.
So let's pray for pray for Amazonia, okay? Pray for everybody who's going through hard times and going through catastrophic conditions, because that's what they are. They're catastrophic conditions, and we really need to pray for them as well, and pray for ourselves.
True.
We really have to do that too.
Pray for understanding, pray for wisdom, man, and put yourself in a position, like I say, to learn something. We got a 2-hour show, and in 2 hours, there's a lot of stuff that we always want to talk about. We can't talk about everything, but a lot of times it's just to spark a conversation. Sometimes it just takes one person to take a look into a situation. You never know what you can share. I was at the store today buying some water, and people was asking what was the importance of drinking spring water. And they were so thankful that I actually shared that information. That was a 2-minute conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with this situation with the Amazon. Like, there's so many things going on in the news, from the Epstein situation to so many things that we can think of that why other news is covering other news. But we got to put a priority list, man. And when it comes to our planet, when it comes to the future of our planet, our children, and our grandchildren, our future generations, that definitely has to take priority, man, over a dead white man that like to play with little kids. So
that's right.
You got to dig that sometimes. And sometimes we got to move on with the news. That don't mean we forget, but sometimes we got to move on because there's more pressing issues.
Absolutely. I was watching the No Jumper podcast the other night. I saw it, and anytime I see my man Dame Dash on something, I gotta click on it.
Definitely worthwhile watching Dame Dash do anything. I don't care if he's just walking his dogs. His Snapchat or his Instagram rather is amazing. And if you ain't tuned in with Dame, you need to wake up and get with Dame.
No doubt. And the reason for that is because Dame, he has a lot of, what do you call it? He has a lot of knowledge, but he has also a lot of commentary, I would call it. And the reason for that is because he likes to talk like me, right? One of the reasons why I got up on this mic. I like to talk because a lot of times I have something to say. Most of the times I have something to say. But when I see Dame, sometimes I just like to sit there and listen to Dame because he has food for thought.
True.
And when he was on this podcast, he was talking about, they asked him a whole bunch of stuff, right? So we're gonna get straight to the obvious.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about how he said, everybody knows Jay-Z ain't shit, right? He also he was asked a question about how Jay did Jermaine Dupri wrong following this NFL, concerning the NFL's deal, right? Which the deal we don't know, again, we don't know what it's really consists of, right? But he said what he said. He said it's common knowledge that Jay ain't shit, and he said he'll do anything for a bag.
Straight up.
And I'm paraphrasing when he said anything for a bag, but he said it's for a bag. It's straight up for a bag. He also went on to say he would do that shit to me with girls. He went on to say that he would confide in Jay-Z about a situation with a female, and then Jay would be like, nah, I wouldn't do that. And then the next day, he wifes her.
See, and that was the thing, too, because I saw a few people, a few commentators, a few radio shows and podcasts disparaging that remark itself, talking about, it's been 20 years since Dame had a situation with a girl with Jay-Z. But this is what you got to realize about people and about people's character. If somebody play you like that when you're young, they're going to play you like that when you're older. If they'll play you like that over a woman, they'll play you like that over some money. It's just people have habits of what they do. And last week we talked about it. I said Jay-Z, he's a capitalist. And I'm not talking about a capitalist in financial terms. I'm talking about he will capitalize off information. So you go to Jay and you say, hey, I got this great idea. Jay-Z ain't the type that maybe won't use it. He might take that same idea and turn it into Jay-Z idea and make $1 million off of it, and they'll laugh at you when you say it was your idea first. That's how the game goes. Same thing with this. I had a flashback just as we were sitting here. The Super Bowl was in Atlanta this past year.
Right.
And they were going heavy on Big Boy because he performed at the halftime show, but also at JD because he was involved in a lot of the parties. He threw a lot of the parties he was hosting. It's his hometown.
Right.
Right? And I can recall during the same weekend that 21 Savage went to jail and all that stuff, to take y'all back a few months. We were on the air during that time too. Nobody stepped in. Jay-Z didn't step in and defend JD. He didn't come in and say, well, hey, give Jermaine Dupri a pass. The thing is now, Jermaine Dupri, he's not the type of dude that's going to sit up and point fingers at Jay-Z, and I respect that.
Right.
But we are all aware of what's been said. We're all aware of what's been done. And to take it from Dame Dash and to say it in his words, because he's been right there with him, he's dealt with similar situations. Everybody know Jay-Z ain't shit. Everybody know Jay-Z going to do whatever it is for the dollars and the capital. So I don't want to hear none of you pundits out there talking about all that Jay-Z talking about doing for the community. If I can remember back that situation with Brooklyn, the same thing, man. So, you know, I'm just glad somebody that knows said it. Because when I said it, I don't know him, but, you know, don't mean it ain't true.
Right. And what's crazy about it is that I heard a lot of people talking about, well, you know, Dame said on countless occasions that he ain't going to talk about Jay-Z no more, but yet and still he turns around and he doesn't. All you got to do is mention Jay-Z's name and he's going to turn around and he's going to say something about it, right? So, you know, the thing about that is that the thing about that is that you can't talk. You can't talk about Jay-Z without talking about Dame, and vice versa. So all you got to do is get him started one time, and then that's it.
No, I would say that Dame Dash is a Jay-Z expert. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, that's the thing. Jay-Z is very insulated, and there's not many people that can say they've worked with Jay-Z on a personal level, business level, and all of that. And it's not many people that have been put in a position like Dame Dash to be able to see it all from the inside and from the outside, man. So, you know, I trust Dame's word because Dame is genuine. And Dame is the type, just like we saw earlier this year as well, who, when he feel like he's wrong, he'll speak up on it. So he didn't say nothing that wasn't true. And if you don't believe the hype, like I said, look at the relationship between Dame and Jay. The same thing he said about Jay being shit, he didn't think about that as saying, okay, we can't do future business. He already know he wouldn't do no business with that dude. Why? Because of how they did business in the past.
Right. And speaking of business, he also went ahead and said in this interview, he said he came across $400,000 in a reasonable doubt account. Did you hear that part?
Nah, bro, I didn't hear about that.
So he said, right? He was like, yo, I came across $400,000 in a reasonable doubt account. And he said, I called Biggs and talked to Biggs about it, you know? And Biggs was like, I ain't touching that. He said, so I needed that. He said, so what I did was I went ahead and took $200,000, and he kind of implied that he took the whole $400,000. And that's another reason why he ain't receiving no more money from Reasonable Doubt, even though he's still an owner of it. Jay's still an owner of it, and he also alluded to he didn't know whether or not Biggs had his share in it still. So
man,
I'm like, oh shit. So you mean to tell me you found some bread and he was like, I ain't touching it, but you went ahead and you went and got that money. Of course he needed that. So of course he's gonna go get it. So my man, I can't remember his name, man, because I don't watch No Jumper so much. But they call him 2 times. Somebody help me out, man. Call us up, 702-412-5870. So before we get off this topic. But he did ask him, he said, so do you still talk to Biggs? He said, Biggs ran out on me the last time I seen him. So he said, what you mean? He said, what you mean by that? He said, yo, we was at some type of event, and he said his girl was like, yo, go talk to him. He said he acted like he didn't want to talk to him. He said Biggs was acting funny towards him. Man. Now, we all know that Biggs is rolling with Jay-Z now. You know, he's over there now. Ever since Big came home, that's what he's been doing. He's been rocking with Jay-Z. He said his girl encouraged him, go over there and, talk to Biggs. He said Big ain't want to take a picture with him or nothing. He said they got into an argument and then he left. So, I mean, what's crazy about that is that a lot of people who want to get next to Jay-Z want to distance themselves from Dame.
Bro.
That right there is not keeping it a buck.
No, bro, but that's the reality of it, right? He did the same thing with Kanye. He did the same thing, you know what I'm saying, with a few other individuals. And the thing about Jay-Z is, like I said earlier, he's insulated, man. So if you ain't on his team, if you ain't rocking with him directly, you're on the Dame Dash side. Does that mean that his folks ain't rocking with you? If you got something to say about Jay that's not in the absolute positive light, nah, that's how the game goes. Like LeBron James in the NBA. It works the same way. So, you know, we gotta stop putting these dudes on a pedestal. They gotta be able to answer for what they do and what they have done. And like I say, I look at Dame Dash as a stand-up guy. Not because he's perfect and he's done everything the right way, but because
he tells the truth.
He don't tell the truth.
He tells the truth a lot of times.
100.
And so on my way here, I was watching Choke No Joke. He had the joke. Choke. If y'all don't know who Choke No Joke is,
I rocks with Choke.
He was one of the cameramen. Salute to my man Joe. He was one of the cameramen for Dame Dash. And what Choke No Joke said today, he was going off. He was like, yo, Dame, you did the same thing. You talking about niggas, Jay, stealing somebody's girl. Didn't you steal somebody's girl too? That girl Rocky, you got the nerve to put a baby in her? I was like, oh. Now, Choke No Joke is always going in on somebody. If he ain't going in on Dame, he going in on Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? He sounds like a woman scorned, but at the end of the day, I will say this. With Choke No Joke, he does keep it real, and he says what he wants to say, and, you know, he's kind of bitter a little bit. You know, you would be bitter if you was involved in something and then you didn't get paid for it or you didn't get any recognition for it. He also goes in on Nori, not today, but he goes in on Nori quite a bit too. He's mad at the Breakfast Club for the Breakfast Club taking his content down. So it's just a bunch of stuff that Choke No Joke is doing. But to end this, I say it like I look at it like this. Jay-Z is going to be Jay-Z. He's going to do the business that he feels he needs to do. He's going to capitalize off of whatever he needs to capitalize. Like Dame said, who's not going to do business with Jay-Z when he's standing next to Beyonce? You know, celebrity trumps everything. He also went on to say that Jay-Z is like Donald Trump. He'll say some stuff, and then all of a sudden, y'all forgive him. You know what I'm saying? And y'all say he's a great businessman. But, you know, I rock with Dame because I just like the way, I like the way Dame talks. I rock with Jay-Z's music. Personally, I rock with whatever is hip hop. But it doesn't mean that I respect everything that they do. You got to learn how to separate one from the other. We wear people's clothing who don't give a damn about us.
True.
So when it comes to black people, and I'm going to tell y'all this real quick so we can end this, and then Outlaw can expound on it. But the reason why black people get so upset with another black man doing something that another race would do, but we would expect that from us, because we don't expect it from our own. But you got to understand, a lot of us grew up different, and we're in different circles, and we're moving how we feel. Either we've been taught, or this is just human nature. And a lot of times, your morals, principles, ethics, and values, sometimes they get clouded because you're looking at stuff from a different perspective. I know people who grew up Christians, their grandmothers are devout Christians, but in the 90s, they was God bodies. And then after Wu-Tang died off, guess what? They was Muslim. You understand what I'm trying to say? But they was Nation of Islam. Then all of a sudden, Nation of Islam ain't popular. Now they Sunni.
Man.
So, I mean, it's like, come on, man. What is it? What are you today?
Man.
Just be who you're going to be and seek some type of spirituality and slow down. Smell the roses. Live life the way you want to live life, but don't try to change nobody else's thought. What say you?
Man, I'm leave it with this, man. Stop expecting righteousness from business, man. You can't be a prophet for profit. And in the end, you know, watch what's going on. I mean, facts is facts, and we can look at past history to know future history. But when it's all said and done, Jay-Z wanted to stand up, and he wanted to man up to the situation he got with the NFL. I'm hoping for all positivity, but I'm not expecting it.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Word. So we're going to get into some more topics in a minute. We're going to listen to some more music. Also, today, this show is also sponsored by
Feeling good on Las Vegas. Stack paper.
Live Better. You already know. We're going to get back into some music, and we'll be right back. This is LS.
I'm Doodie Outlaw.
You're listening to This is Hip Hop Radio on 22.3 Takeover Vegas Radio.